All right, hypothetical class, welcome to a presentation on Neanderthals, assimilation and replacement by me, Joseph Stranzik. All right, so Homo neanderthalensis, why it's interesting. So Homo neanderthalensis, or Neanderthals, are an extinct species of the genus Homo. They evolved kind of adjacent and before Homo sapiens and lived alongside them for a while. And if you're a bit confused, think of it kind of like Hondas. So a Honda is a manufacturer of a car. That would be like the genus. And the species would be the different types of car Honda makes, such as the CR-V or the Civic. But because they're all Hondas, they all have, some of their parts are kind of interchangeable. And so this will come in later, as you can see, is that Neanderthals and humans interbred. More importantly, Neanderthals existed around 120,000 to 35,000 years ago. This is a time period kind of called the Middle to Upper Paleolithic. The Paleolithic is just a tool concept, so think Eleusinian and Mousterian tool complexes. So, big thing is, all the archaeological remains that were found of Neanderthals are found in Eurasia. So think Turkey to Spain to Germany, which is mostly pretty much all of continental Europe, everywhere kind of north and east of the Mediterranean. So extinction, yes and no. So Neanderthals are extinct, but how they went extinct, there are a lot of theories. But today we're going to be focusing on assimilation and replacement. So what does this mean? Is that assimilation is the process of becoming similar to something, or replacement is to take the place of. So kind of when you put this together, Neanderthals went extinct due to being assimilated and replaced by a certain group. And surprise, surprise, the group is us, humans. So I kind of organize this into three boxes of evidence we can kind of look at. It's called BTNF. It sounds like a sandwich. But we got biology, technology, and food. So biology is a lot of the anatomical adaptations that Neanderthals had that were different from humans. Specifically, their thumb movement, so power grip. So power grip is kind of like with the meat of the hand here, and you're gripping something, kind of like a haft or a pole, which led people to believe into their kind of like hypothesized big game hunting. They have a big barreled chest, which allows them to kind of keep all their organs in one place, preserve body heat by reducing body mass, and also low body fat compared to muscle mass. This is interesting because this kind of leads into the food, in that certain groups of Neanderthals had a very high protein diet. And all this was important because, fun fact, Eurasia was cold around 100,000 years ago. Moving into technology. So technology kind of leads into cultural development. And this is big because cultural development is only possible with other essentially groups of individuals to bounce off of, kind of like a game of Pong. So big things that I kind of narrowed down are language, fire use, and tools. So language is big because language allows you to essentially communicate and understand each other, allowing for a greater degree of cooperation, not only within your own group, but between other groups as well. We got fire use, and fire use is big because fire use kind of highlights this. It's like the wheel. It's a big stepping stone, in that using fire allows you to cook food. And by cooking food, you're able to get more calories out of the food than you would normally, essentially getting more bang for your buck. Then you have tools, and tools are really big because tools highlight competition. Tools are developed because certain groups need to outcompete other groups. And this means that if you can make a tool to outcompete, all the better. And if they have tools, then you got to make a better tool. And it starts compounding until we get stuff like today. Finally, we got food and diets. And so what we've kind of found is that by looking at both the location of where Neanderthals are found and the dental plaques, so kind of think of like fossilized teeth, you can find bacteria in that, and that bacteria can kind of help you understand what the Neanderthals and ancient humans ate. And this kind of leads into us knowing that they have a very diverse diet depending on where they lived. And so when you put it all together, Neanderthals were assimilated into human societies, partly due to cultural and partly due A lot of it was cultural. Because language capacity, tool use, all of this indicates competition and cooperation between both groups. But the nail in the coffin here is bacteria. There's a certain bacteria that was found in Neanderthal dental plaques that was also found in human dental plaques around the same area. And this kind of belies that not only did they share the same kind of food source, but with certain cut marks being found on certain bones around the area, also showed that they worked together, leading to cooperation and more proof that Neanderthals did assimilate. And other things is that Neanderthals were replaced as well. Like assimilation and replacement are happening both in tandem. And so the replacement, we can kind of see that with fire use, is that fire use is found a lot in human ancestral groups, but it's a bit lacking for Neanderthals, almost like not all of them got it, and so not all of them were able to get more bang for their buck when it came to food and calorie consumption. Then there's Neanderthal anatomy, which is suited to large game hunting and power grips, shafted tools, cold climates. And the cold climate's not going to do too much, but the food source is. Certain Neanderthal groups would be forced to assimilate and adopt new subsistence strategies as more and more humans start coming in and hunting their food and driving up the competition, which is kind of leads into the last point here, which is the influx of humans from Africa. Put simply, it's a numbers game. Let's just say for every one Neanderthal, there's 100 humans. Kind of outlandish, but you kind of see of the more and more humans come, the more and more strain is put on the environment, which forces the Neanderthals to either go extinct or assimilate into human society to survive. And this is, I think, is really cool because the idea that Neanderthals, being a separate species that went extinct a while ago, interbred and assimilated with our societies back then is cool. This really raises questions as to how we should define what a species is as anthropologists, as the biological species concept doesn't really apply here. It also raises big questions culturally, as how culture plays a part in the evolutionary and environmental processes. Because what we've seen by looking back at all this is that humans and Neanderthals adapted to their environment culturally, not biologically. By altering the environment and altering how they approach certain problems, they're able to get a better grasp on survival, and essentially they live for tomorrow. And by impacting the environment, they're able to impact, well, kind of the evolutionary process of the environment. Think of it like kind of like a variable that and by introducing humans and Neanderthals in their technological development, the equation has to change to fit the new variables, changing the entire system as a whole. But overall, hypothetical class is kind of over. This is my bibliography. It's all in APA in really tiny font. But overall, this was fun. Have a nice day.